right, welcome everybody to another installment of The Way It Is. I am your host, Luke Analfato with Remax Service First Realty, Inc. And today we are going to follow up our mine and Ben's podcast from last week about Visit Kingston's site and the top 25 things to do in August. And we're fortunate to have as our guest, most of you know him as our town crier, Chris Whyman. Many of you may not know, though, that he's the manager of the tourism office here in Kingston. So we just thought that that would be a great segue after that, because it's, I think, going to be great to get a finger on the pulse of tourism in Kingston. I know it supports a lot of businesses. So welcome, Chris.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Had I prepared better, I would have had you in your gear and you could have cried us in for the.
Well, my gear is hanging up behind me here. Let's see, in the corner over there. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, my gear is hanging up somewhere there, so it's always readily available in case I get a call from the mayor that says, "Can I be somewhere?" So yeah.
Well, listen, I know when we had the call last week to organize this, you were jokingly saying that you hadn't gotten your appointment yet with both our friend and our hairstylist. James
Brett. Yes, I know. Well,
so I see the flow going pretty good.
I'm kind of playing with it a bit. I'm letting it grow a bit. It kind of suits the uniform, and so it's.
Hey, don't. But
it is not the most. What's the word? Convenient type of hairstyle in the middle of the
Well, I like the flow back, but anyway, I might keep it myself like everybody else is. But so listen, some general questions first. First off, I guess, COVID is still a thing, even though, we're in stage 3 now and people are getting vaccinated and the world's trying to sort of get back into doing things that we've been deprived from doing. During COVID, obviously tourism basically stopped, correct?
Correct. It was really put a damper on people, of course, traveling and the things that people want to come and see, like a museum or an attraction or a restaurant, which is Kingston's famous for, that no one's going to come and they're closed. So it really hurt. And obviously I was off for 7 months, waiting to come back to work again, to this job of promoting Kingston as much as I possibly could. Obviously, as the town crier, I was able to do videos such as we're doing right now, but such as that for opening, charity runs, charity events, mayoral proclamations about certain things. So I still kept busy doing it that way, but it wasn't quite the same, but as we slowly get out of it, you can see behind the mask, the eyes are smiling. So.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So as your role then and trying to bring tourism back to Kingston, I would have to think now that we've entered stage 3, I've talked to some friends and colleagues that talk about being downtown and that the place, everything was packed. So are we seeing an influx of tourists back into the Kingston area?
Yes, it's definitely on an upsweep. The biggest amount of tourism, of course, is now staycations by regional people. So from as far away as Quebec City to the west, as far away as, I should say as far away as Alberta as well. But normally from the Windsor corridor, Windsor Quebec City corridor, the people are coming. The nice thing about that corridor is that literally they say, well, we're within 2 to 5 hours of Kingston and we can make a great little vacation in our own province or in our next bordering province. So we do have a lot of people coming from those places, and it's noticeable here at the visitor center, because our job here at the visitor center, of course, is to ensure that people can find things to see, do, places to eat, events that are going on, museums and attractions that are open, but of course, to build on their experience so that they're going to stay. And that's kind of like the goal of my division here at Tourism Kingston. We have a marketing division that markets Kingston. We have a meetings, conferences, travel trade organization that looks after different groups and things like that. But our visitor services aspect is to try and give them enough, I guess, meat and potatoes that they're going to say, we need to get a room and stay overnight.
So there's that many sort of just day trippers that would come in just just for the day, or they're traveling through, I guess, and they're stopping in at Kingston and say, what's here? And if we like what we see, then you try to capture them in the web.
We try to capture them and at least give them a tidbit of information that they can use to, entice them to come back if they're not staying, if they're only here for a couple of hours. We want to have that little bit of a lead to say, this is what's going to happen. This, when we're open, you can come and see some great things, what happens in Kingston, some great festivals, awesome music, live music, things like that, which will say, maybe we should come back and visit Kingston again. So we're not only working on the ones that are here now, we're working on hopefully getting them back again to come and visit and stay.
Now, pre-COVID, tourism was a huge thing for Kingston, right? I mean, I can't remember the number. I probably remember seeing different numbers, but do you have your finger on sort of the millions or billions of dollars?
Millions. It's in the millions. Yeah, it's one of the biggest economic drivers in Kingston, along with the CFP Kingston and the Queen's University. But tourism and all the associated businesses put millions into the economy. So without it, it really suffers a lot. And to be honest with you, I'm so proud of the local businesses that kept doing the takeout, and the local people who kept buying the takeout and supporting the local restaurants and the local retail that could do curbside pickup. So, kudos to Kingstonians for keeping our small businesses alive. So
yeah,
we would have helped if we could have, but we couldn't.
No, that's been a common theme, which is great, and you're absolutely right. So, I'm a Kingstonian. You're a Kingstonian, are you, Chris? Or?
Yeah.
Sorry,
born at Hotel du Hospital when they were at the maternity ward.
So, I mean, and I worked at Fort Henry, and as a Kingstonian though, and working here my entire life and everything, I'm always curious though. What brings people to Kingston to begin with? What gets Kingston on someone's radar, I guess, if you're
okay. So of course, not only is the marketing a great marketing team, but the best marketing is, of course, word of mouth. All you need is for someone to come to Kingston and go back to their hometown of, I don't know, Sherbrooke, Quebec, and say, and talk to their friends and relatives. Oh, we just went to Kingston and this was there, that was there. What a great town. Fantastic. We had so much fun. That's going to just stir people to come back and visit Kingston. Word of mouth is sort of the number one way. But the biggest thing is that I think our recognition that we're, of course, Canada's first capital, and we have got beautiful architecture, beautiful streetscapes. We're on the water. We're at the confluence of the three main bodies of water, the Rideau, St. Lawrence, and Lake Ontario. So people sort of, it's a little bit of a beacon when you see that we're, on the map, on the radar for people to come and visit. And our location, location. It's a great spot. I mean, everybody's heard of Quebec City and the great little cafes and places like that you can go to, and Kingston's becoming the kind of Quebec City style with all our restaurants and the patios that are out. And with COVID, and hopefully this is all grandfathered in, the city allowing us to expand our patios and expand our attractions and put chairs out so people can walk around and sit down and relax by the water, or sit down and relax in front of City Hall. I mean, it's become a real people place because of COVID, unfortunately, which is a good thing for that, but the COVID is the unfortunate part.
Well, I've always thought this, and I guess maybe, I don't know if this will plant a seed, but I dare say I'm sure others have mentioned it or thought of it as well, because I'm sure we're all familiar with Ottawa and Spark Street, which is pedestrian traffic only. And I would have to think that, has anyone ever discussed that, from having just like maybe from Montreal Street down or Bagot Street down, having the downtown just purely open to pedestrian traffic?
I'm sure it's been discussed. I mean, we've done little trials, not we, but the Downtown Business Association has done little trials with the Kingston Princess Street Promenade. And of course, now we've got the COVID new idea, which is on Ontario Street, where they've expanded Ontario Street down, from Clarence Street down to Johnson Street, where they've made that all open to patios and extended the patios there. Sydenham Street up Princess Street is actually blocked off for different events in the summertime. It becomes a pedestrian mall. In little bits and pieces, we are trying to get that sort of feel. And people are really enjoying the fact that they can get out of their cars, park them. We have lots of parking downtown. that they can park and actually go and walk around the streets.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, us Kingstonians, we're spoiled when we can't just pull right up in front of the store we want to stop into for 5 minutes and get out and get what we want and go, right? And stuff.
That's the problem. People say, I can't get to my store. Well, you park maybe a block or two away and you can get to your store. And they say, well, I can go and park at the Cataraqui Town Center and walk to my store. Yeah, but you have to walk in the parking lot and you have to walk through the mall. It's almost the same distance as parking a little bit farther away, but it makes me smile every time I think of it, even though people, get mad about it, but there is lots of parking downtown and big major parking lots that are easy to park into, parking garages and things like that. But just not in front of the store you want to go to. So, but I mean, with visitors who come from out of town, they're used to that. If they're coming from Toronto, Montreal, Quebec City, Ottawa,
they never get parking.
They get it. You can never get parking there. And if you do get a parking ticket, so it's like $40 to $50 for a parking ticket here. It's maybe $20 if you get a parking ticket. So.
Well, yeah, no, I know for a fact that you'd have to go into you always look for the closest parking garage that you can, depending on which section of the downtown you're in the GTA in Toronto or wherever and stuff, right? And then you're walking from there. No, and I think we're slowly coming out into, the 21st century and beyond, right? In downtown Kingston in terms of, and I think that just speaks to its growth as a municipality and as a destination or urban center, right? Because we are, probably might offend some other smaller municipalities, but we are definitely the focal point of the region. I would think, not to say that Brockville and Belleville don't have their things, and everybody, there's places to visit there. I'm not taking anything away from them, but given, like you said, Queen's University, the hospitals, all of the sort of the main features, this has become basically a regional center. So.
Well, and that's what we've been working on over the last few years now is to making sure that we utilize our regional partners. So, we've created, and there have been things created, such as the stay and sip and stay package, which is a wine tour package that's going right now with County Sips, a company out of Kingston, where Ian Nicol is a sommelier, and he takes.
I know Ian, yeah,
Ian. But so he takes people on a regular basis, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, day trips into the county. And each one of them is separate. And we basically promote staying in Kingston because there's lots more accommodation availability, nothing to take away from the county. But then using Ian to take people into the county for basically a day-long wine tour, which is really popular. It's getting a lot of, it's of course new this year. So it's slowly building steam like a steamroller. And the other thing is we promote packages towards Gananoque and Skywood, the tree-to-tree
right.
Event, and Upper Canada Village. I mean, they're all connected with St. Lawrence Parks, Skywood, Upper Canada Village, the Kingston Pen, Fort Henry. So they're all a regional attraction, again, for that reason, to try and get people to stay in Kingston and do a little bit of day tripping out from here.
Right. And you go to think of it, how many people travel to the Caribbean all the time or take these packages that, if they were traveling to the Caribbean? And if you're taking excursions, you're traveling an hour or 2 hours away sometimes, depending on which part of the Caribbean you're in or which country you're in or anything like that, right? So it's no different than that. So,
and again, it's taking the attributes of the communities around us and packaging them with Kingston as the main focal hub. I mean, I worked on a big initiative years ago called the Motorcycle Tourism Initiative. Motorcycle tourism is huge. Basically, people coming from out of town in groups of, sometimes 4 or 5, but they're not the hairy fighters that come into town to cause trouble. These are
they're not wearing their colors. They're not wearing their colors when they come into town.
The colors on the ones we are getting are gray. And your population, they want to stay in a really nice hotel. They want to eat at nice restaurants. They want a safe place to park their motorcycles. And they're not coming on, like choppers. They're coming on, for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 motorcycles with their partner. And it's basically an opportunity to push the regions of route maps. And we've got it on our website. We've got route maps to take people on trips up through the Rideau Heritage Route, the Thousand Islands, Prince Edward County, the wine tour, up to the Land O'Lakes. So the idea is to use Kingston as a main hub, and to get people to go out from there. And we have lots to see and do in Kingston. So, for example, Blues Fest, which is happening this year, It's
So
people
that's going to happen, eh? That's going to be a thing then for sure.
coming back. It's a mini version of it, but it's still good quality.
Good.
But as you know, over the years, people would come here for that, and a lot of motorcyclists would come for that because it seems to be the music of choice for riders, blues. And
Yeah.
stay in Kingston, do the Blues Fest during the nighttime, and during the day, do a trip around the area. And that can be just as easily done with people coming in cars. People come in a car and stay at a hotel, leave their car, and walk around, or do a day trip to Prince Edward County, to the beaches of Prince Edward County, or to Sandbanks. To Grass Creek Park in the east
Yeah.
side, even to Wolf Island. It's a little tricky right now, Wolf Island, because of the construction going on there. But I recommend, and we all recommend here at the Visitor Center, for people to take your bicycle, rent a bicycle local, and go across and ride a bicycle around Wolf Island, and visit the waterfront patios that are there and such.
So I touched on this last week on the podcast, though, because I remember seeing that we used to have those bike ride share things. Are they still in existence? Are they still around? No.
No, they were called drop bike. They didn't work quite well, from my opinion, anyway. They only allowed one person to rent you couldn't rent it for a family of 5. They would the Europeans or stuff like that. Obviously, this year would work, but we do have, of course, Ahoy Rentals that does not only bicycles but kayaks, canoes, paddle boards, and things like that. And then there's a new location at the bottom of Fort Henry that rents e-bikes. So electric bike and do a little tour around there. So, I mean, they're starting to open up, but it is available in Kingston, and of course supports the local economy.
Yeah. So you touched on we mentioned it. So Queen's University, obviously, a major factor in Kingston in terms of economics, in terms of student population. In this September, I think we're going to get back to what a potentially normal student population may look like, because they're going to have in-class learning, from what I'm made to understand. And I think I know through my property management world, we've leased up some properties already to the students that are definitely, wanting to secure, accommodation. That's got to help the tourism in Kingston, given that you just described word of mouth, because obviously these parents, once they've had the experience of Kingston, must go back and talk to their friends, or their parents come and stay, obviously, with moving their kids in and out. How much of that are you seeing happen?
We see a lot of that, as a little bit more now this year than we did last year, but previous years, it's a crazy amount. Obviously, the amount of people that book hotels as they're getting their kids settled in, finding a place for them to stay, or getting them settled into the university itself. Parents are loving it. They love to come. They love to come to visit their son or daughter, because they're out in the town, and they're all over the place, because they're taking their son out to eat at Panchancho or Shade Pig or whatever, the Toucan, whatever. They're there, and they're doing it for themselves as much as they're doing it for their kids. So it's kind of fun to see.
Yeah, I've lost count of the number of you get inquiries through realtor.ca, or even, you pick up people that are wanting to move back to Kingston, and their only connection to Kingston was they went to university here, and they were definitely born and raised somewhere else, and have gone on to do their career somewhere else. But their one-time connection with Kingston when they were at university here was enough to bring them back to because they, like everything we've just discussed, they sort of fell in love with the city, the amenities, and everything that's here. So.
Yeah, that's I think the big thing. Kingston's got a good reputation as being the community that has everything a big city has, but in a smaller package. So, we've got great cultural scene, we've got live music, we've got dance, we've got Kingston Symphony, for example. Lots of cultural attributes that Kingston has. I mean, even things such as movies in Market Square, which is happening again this year, in a smaller numbers allowed, but they come and they walk through the downtown core, and they're just amazed at what there is to see and do in Kingston. And they think, wow, what a great place for my kid to go to school. And they love that. So I think the reputation of the city is a good indication of the reputation of the actual facility, Queens. So
now, sorry,
I was saying it's a good thing for everyone.
I just lost my train of thought there, but I was going to say, with regards to Queens and the kids coming back, the hotels must be loving it now, right? Are the hotels starting to fill up?
They are starting to fill up. I just got an email just before I went on about one of the hotels is completely sold out for tonight. Obviously, they're sold out, but of course, I think the capacity is a little lower, just like the capacity for the cruises and trolleys and ghost and mystery trolleys and haunted walks and things like that. They are a little bit lower capacity, but at least they are at a capacity that they can start making some money, and bouncing back is kind of the number one thing. It's even funny. I'm thinking about it now as I'm looking around. I'm not paying attention to you, but looking out my windows and looking around, thinking right now in the park, right in Confederation Park, they're doing a COVID vaccination station.
Oh wow, okay.
Trying to get everyone vaccinated. We don't want to be the country like our friends down south that that are the COVID spreaders because they're not vaccinated. It's, as I think the president said, and a lot of people have said, you don't want to be the pandemic of the unvaccinated. So I mean, it's right now they're really pushing to get people all vaccinated. So I'm double vaccinated. It's kind of like a proud moment. I didn't get a tattoo or anything, but it was to say I got the COVID vaccines and I'm back to work, which is another big thing. And people are coming back to work. I mean, I've noticed that places are struggling a little bit because they didn't get enough notice and not enough staff, but they're working their best, and I think people are really understanding about it.
I've heard of the staffing challenges across the board, and that's not only in the hotel hospitality business, but the restaurant business. It's a lot of variables contributing to that, but hopefully that works its way out, and that those that want those jobs in those industries do come back to get them again, which I'd like to think that eventually they will. I mean, I know some people, the knee-jerk reaction is that government's assistance is still making them stay away, but that's not going to happen forever. And I don't even know what government assistance is still even being offered, to be candid with you, to make people not want to go look for a job. But aside from that, though, because I haven't kept up to date, this phase 3 or stage 3 with these reduced numbers, what are you hearing on your end in terms of when that next step to full or maximum occupancy or maximum attendance can happen? What have you heard anything? Or
we keep our eyes and ears on the KFLNA website, and of course our director of tourism is in the know with all the I guess timings and things like that, but everyone's staying on tenderfoot just to make sure, like walking on eggshells, to make sure that we still keep up the good efforts in combating any further outbreak. And the people that are coming in are most happy to wear masks. They're most happy to be out of their hometowns and into this town to visit because they've been cooped up for so long. And you can see it on a weekend an example. Like today is Tuesday, but there's a lot of people in front of the visitor center right now. And when Wednesday comes around and Thursday, there'll be twice as many people on front of the visitor center. They're here to enjoy and to see as much as they can. So they are going to wear the mask. They are on the street. It's an up and down thing. But when they come to businesses, we just remind them you can come and wear a mask. And once you're seated, you can, for example, at a restaurant, once you're seated, you can take your mask off. And they're quite happy to do that just because they're like I said, they're feeling a little more freedom.
Yeah. And are you seeing families, like families with children in you? Yeah.
Oh yeah, tons of families. There's a lot of couples, but tons of families and of course, because of Kingston's reputation with Fort Henry and Kingston Pen, haunted walks, ghost and mystery trolleys. There's lots of family type entertainment for them to do. So they're quite enthralled to bring their kids to it. The Pump House Steam Museum is now open. You, of course, have to book most of these online ahead of time. But you can walk up to the fort because it's so large and buy your tickets there. Kingston Pen is still a growing concern because it sells out like crazy.
It's crazy. We talked about that last week. It's unbelievable, this traction, the staying power that's had, right? That was only supposed to be like a temporary measure, and now it's got a life of its own, right? So,
and right now they're actually filming a movie production. I think Paramount's in there doing a movie. It was funny driving by and seeing the American flag on the flagpole outside saying, what the heck is the American flag doing? Oh, right. It's a movie scene. So it's kind of right now, again, that's going to draw attention to Kingston. Any of this that works with anyone that works in the theater industry knows Kingston now is a little bit of a mecca as do musicians and music producers. They've been sneakily walking around Kingston throughout the last 5 or 6, 7 years, scoping out acts and things like that. And what they do, they come and they see Kingston, and they go back and tell their colleagues that Kingston's the place you got to be. So Alex, who works in the film department, Alex Jensen, he's doing a great job promoting Kingston's attributes with his colleague Amesha, and so it's doing really well for tourism and bringing up numbers in hotels when the hotels need them.
Right. So August 9th, the land border is supposed to open, right? And so U.S. visitors, because they're right at our doorstep across the lake and in close proximity. What do you foresee happening there, or that's
one of the ones where we're kind of on the line about. We just, as long as they're double vaccinated, I think that's a good thing. But that's our issue. My issue with the people coming across the border from the States that are not vaccinated. So I don't know. We're following the science. So we'll follow whatever the KFLNA says, whatever the Canadian government says in the healthcare industry, because you got to trust the scientists to know what they're talking about. Not saying anything bad about politicians, but of course you got to trust the guys who know.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with you there. I've said that from day one. People you got to understand the science. And that remains to be seen with all these, the students filtering back into Kingston's, Queens, St. Lawrence, RMC. I mean, they're coming from centers where not everyone is vaccinated, or at least double vaccinated. And they're coming from centers where that variant is, the Delta variant is still a thing, and still active. So there's some I'm a little concerned in terms of, what happens then, because let's face it, not everybody follows the protocols as well as others, right? I mean, we've been emboldened. It's amazing how quickly people get emboldened by, now we're in stage 3 and no, I'm double vaxxed, so I may not need to wear my mask all the time, or, So yeah, like you said, we still have to stay diligent for sure.
Stay diligent, and like I say, we've got a great team in tourism that it has their finger on the pulse. And of course, right now we're busy doing visitor services. We've got a great team that will actually let us know and keep appraised of different things that happen. They attend the meetings with the KFLNA and the rest of the group to make sure that we're on top of it.
So I think I'll wrap it up, though. One last topic I want to talk about. We've talked about the region and people coming in from the region. What about Kingstonians? Are you seeing Kingstonians availing themselves of these staycation packages, or trying to finally learn what's in their own backyard in terms of options?
I have. In fact, the wine package has been quite well adapted and well adopted, I should say, by the locals. They've been taking these tours because now they can do the little tour and not have to worry about driving home doing the wine tour. And so the sip and stay is they stay at home, though, but they come back to the Prince Edward County to do the tours. They are coming to do the trolley rides. They are coming to basically see what Kingston has to offer. It is people coming out, getting out to see what Kingston is all about, and more now than ever than they have in the past. I think one of the things we have to worry about is taking up a lot of room in different attractions and things like that. I think that they, in their mind, that's what they're thinking, but they really are. They're bringing their grandkids downtown. They're taking them to Grass Creek Park. They're taking them for picnics in the park. The Breakwater Park, Gord Edgar Downey Pier is very popular again with the young people, but there are visitors that come here to go and use it as well. So,
yeah. Well, you know what? I want to thank you again. We can leave it there, but I'm encouraged that Kingston Tourism is alive and well, and that it's in good hands, your hands and your team and everyone that's there. And I know everyone's excited to have tourists. I know there's some Kingstonians that always complain about the tourists and everything, but like you said, it's an important driver of this economy and of Kingston businesses. And let's face it, Kingston businesses are Kingston citizens and local entrepreneurs and our community members, right? That live on our streets and our neighbors and all of that, right? So it's a whole giant cog in the wheel of it all, right? So
everything that we do to promote Kingston, as in events and festivals and different things that happen in Kingston, are not only just for tourists. The locals get to take advantage of them as well.
Yeah. Well, Chris, I want to thank you very much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. I welcome the day that I can see you crying in your outfit, in your uniform, or whatever at a live event. And yeah, we'll until the next time. Take care, and we'll touch base soon. So.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Okay. Take care.